This is the ZAR's Autumn 3.46 tactic for Football Manager 2026. It is ranked as one of the very best tactics in FM26, up to a point that you can actually use Curacao to win the FIFA World Cup in FM26 using this tactic. Today we're going to break down all the player rules and team instructions and individual player instructions. So in case you want to go ahead and recreate the tactic for yourself, you can go ahead and do that. So like most overpowered tactics of Football Manager 26, the ZAR's Autumn 3.46 adopts a strikerless system using a back three with two overlapping centre backs and one ball playing centre back. It also uses two advanced wing backs and two channel midfielders in central midfield, and of course a shadow striker in number 10 position flanked by two inside forwards. That is the way they are set up in possession. However, out of possession they're going to use a flat back five with two fullbacks and three ball playing centre backs with a standard goalkeeper. They also have two defensive midfielders, an attacking midfielder and two wingers. For the goalkeeper, you have a ball playing goalkeeper, and the only instruction, basically no instruction for him, they only take more risk, and that is the default instruction for the ball playing goalkeeper. Out of possession, there are no instructions as well, so you just have a ball playing goalkeeper and a standard goalkeeper playing in goal. For the centre backs, we have overlapping centre backs on the left and on the right hand side of the back three. On the left hand side, the overlapping centre backs, these are his internal player instructions. He's also going to be shooting less. He's going to be making forward runs as an overlapping centre back, much like the wing back, much like the wide centre back used to do on attack duty. You're going to have him make more runs, and he's also going to take a lot more risk. His passing strategy is quite shorter, but if we look at his out of possession instructions, he's been asked to trigger press less often. That's something we don't see very often in Football Manager 2026, but that's a new instruction that I see here that has been working in the current match engine. He's also going to be tackling a lot harder. Just to confirm, we'll look at the overlapping centre back that is playing on the right hand side, and if you look at the overlapping centre back, he has the same instructions. His passing directness is very short, and he's also shooting less and taking a lot more risk. The default instruction would be to make forward runs. Out of possession, he's also triggering the press less often and tackling harder. For the ball playing centre back in the centre, we can see that his instructions are to take a lot more risk and make less runs forward. That is default for the ball playing centre back. Out of possession, he's going to be triggering a lot more and also tackling harder. So he's going to be acting like a stopper for the team, while the other two centre backs is going to be acting like cover duties. Now over to the wing backs, we have two advanced wing backs, and remember they are playing as full backs when they are playing out of possession. For the advanced wing back, they're going to be sitting a lot narrower when they are for their attacking width. Their dribbling direction is balanced and their dribbling frequency is also standard, but they're making forward runs. That is default for the advanced wing back. We can also see that they're going to shoot less often and they're not taking a lot more risk. No instruction for them there, but their passing directness is left on standard, but however, they'll be crossing the ball from the byline. When they're playing out of possession, they will be playing as normal fullbacks, but they will be pressing a lot more often. So instead of using the pressing fullback, they're opting for normal fullback with a much more often trigger press and then asking them to tackle a lot harder. If we look at the advanced wingback playing on the right hand side, he has very similar instructions. He's going to sit narrower with the attacking width, also going to shoot less often, and it's also going to cross the ball from the byline. And playing out of possession, he's going to trigger press a lot more often and try to tackle a lot harder. So moving into central midfield, they have two channel midfielders and defensive midfielders. So when they're in central midfield, they'll be playing as channel midfielders. It's quite risky, but it's good that they have a flat back five. So as they're playing as channel midfielders, they can get a lot more forward and get ahead of the shadow striker. However, when they are in their out of possession phase, they will be playing as two defensive midfielders, protecting the defense a lot more, so they're going to drop back. So when they're playing as channel midfielders, the instruction for them is going to be to move into channels, so no other additional instructions for the channel midfielder. Out of possession, they will only be tackling harder. They're not forcing the press in any way. Their trigger press is standard. So if you look at the other guy on the right hand side, just to be sure, attacking with this to move into channels. That's the only thing he's going to do, and then out of possession, just tackle harder. So that is for the instruction for the channel midfielder / defensive midfielder when he's out of possession. It gets interesting when we go into the attack. You can look at the inside forward on the left hand side. The inside forward on the left hand side is going to stay a lot wider. Now I do like the width in Football Manager 2026. I've noticed that in the new match engine, the game tends to favor width a lot. So what I used to do was to play as wide forwards, but then I realized that what Zaz is doing here is to use inside forwards, but also ask them to stay a lot wider. He's not really forcing them to cut inside or anything like that. They're just going to stay wider and make normal forward runs that inside forward normally do. No other instructions assigned for them. However, out of possession, they'll be playing like wingers instead of tracking wingers, and they're going to be tackling harder. No other additional instructions for them. Just to confirm, the inside forward on the right hand side has similar instructions. He's going to stay wider and also make forward runs. That's default for the inside forward anyway. And if you look at his out of possession instruction, he's only going to tackle harder. But this shadow striker or center forward in this particular sense is also going to move into channels and he's also going to make runs. So the one instruction is for him to move into channels Out of possession, he's also going to tackle harder, and he's playing as an attacking midfielder when he's out of possession. So those are the player roles. We're going to look at the team instructions and how Zaz was able to set this up. So we're going to look at the team instructions and see what Zaz was able to set up. It's quite similar to what we know as the overpowered system in Football Manager. If you look at all the team instructions for in possession, the team is going to play with more direct passing, and they're also going to play with a much higher tempo. You're also going to sit for counter-attacks and also ask the team to play much more narrower with their attacking width. For the build-up strategy, you're going to ask the team to play through the press and also ask the goalkeeper to hit the ball short. He's also going to play the ball to the centre-backs and also encourage them to dribble a lot more. When they're going to play through, what you want to do here is actually play through the middle instead of going through the flanks. You want to ask the team to play the ball and progress the ball through the middle. For the pass reception, you want your team to pass into space. For the supporting runs, there's no internal instruction. There's no overlap or underlap in any way. Everything is just balanced. For patience, you also want your team to walk the ball into the box. You're also going to discourage them from shooting aimlessly and then also ask the team to play low crosses. The goalkeeper's distribution speed is pretty balanced, but out of possession, you can see that the team is playing with a much lower defensive line. However, they are sticking to the high press. The trigger press is much more often trigger press, and then for defensive transition, you want your team to counter press. You also want your players to get stuck in, but this time you're going to try to invite crosses. For the pressing trap, it's pretty balanced, but the goalkeeper distribution, you're also going to try to stop the goalkeeper distributing the ball short. For the defensive line, you want your team to step up a lot more. So those are the team instructions for the system. You will find the link in the description so you can download the tactic for yourself. However, you can also just follow through the video and try to create every single player role for yourself. Let me know how you get on with the tactic. I'll see you in the next video.